Hello and welcome to Dawn of the Bread. Today I'm going to teach you how to make my version of a pain de sandwich bread. Now this is going to be a soft, delicate milk bread, not quite like a Japanese loaf, but it's going to be nice for sandwiches and toast. And we're going to be baking it today in a 1 pound Pullman loaf tin. Just like this. Now, ingredients wise today, we have 350 grams of strong white bread flour. In here we have 7 grams of milk powder and 7 grams of salt, 5 grams of dry active yeast. In this jug here we have 203 grams of lukewarm milk. Now we don't want it hot, we just want it lukewarm. If it's hot, it's going to kill the yeast. Anyway, and in the microwave, nice and soft, blasted it for 10 seconds. I've got 35 grams of unsalted butter. Now, and the last ingredient here is the honey, 14 grams. I will be putting in the recipe in the description box down below. So the first thing we're going to want to do, because everything else is weighed out except the honey, I'm going to put the milk on the scales. I'm going to weigh the honey straight into the milk. I need 14 grams. There we go, 14 grams of honey. And then the scales can now go bye-byes, because that's the last thing weighed. I always weigh the honey last, because I like to weigh it directly into the actual milk or water whenever I use it. And to that, we're going to add the 5 grams of yeast, straight in, and then whisk it up. Now we're going to want to wait anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes until that yeast blooms. That's what I call it. I call it blooming the yeast. I'm going to wait until it gets nice and foamy, and you know it's ready to go. So I'll set that one side, and I'll be back in 3 minutes. Right, and now we're going to continue. It's been about 3 minutes or so, and the milk, yeast and honey mixture is nice and bubbly and ready to go. The next step is to take our 350 grams of flour and add our 7 grams of milk powder and 7 grams of salt straight into the flour, like so. Move that out of the way. And use the spoon handle and mix that through. Just to get it incorporated. This is how I like to add my salt into most of my doughs. Now, as far as milk, I'm actually using I buy cartons of the long life semi-skimmed milk, and absolutely brilliant for baking because it's much cheaper than buying your typical cold carton milks from bottles. And yeah, get the long life cartons. It works out cheaper, and I've got to admit, I find my bread lasts longer with it as well. So I think it's because of the way they treat the milk. I don't know. Anyway, next step is to take your milk mixture here with your yeast and your honey, give it a gentle mix to break up all that foam, and pour it straight into the bowl. Now I like to use a little spatula just to scrape down the jug, so I get every last little bit of ingredients, just like so. So every little bit's important when it comes to this recipe. You don't want to leave any of it out. I always do my recipes in grams. I find with grams, my gram is the same as your gram. I've tried doing the whole cups and whatnot, and you just do what you're used to. Now, there is one ingredient I did forget, and I do apologise. You're going to need 1 egg yolk. Now the egg yolk is going to play its part by, because we're going to be incorporating some butter into this dough, a little bit in, and the egg will help bind the butter to the dough. It's got something in there, helps it bind. That's the importance of an egg. But we're going to just use the yolk in this case. And the dough itself is going to be a 58% hydration, so it's going to be relatively easy to handle. Anyway, we're going to use a spoon handle. I've got this Danish whisk. I'm just going to use the spoon end. I'm going to start bringing the dough together until we come up with a shaggy dough, and then clean down the bowl. I'm going to stab that egg yolk and get him in there. I know my commentary could be a lot better, but I am new to this, so bear with me. It's all a learning curve. I'm actually doing this video as a favour to some friends, and my mum has recently learned how to start making bread, and I've started teaching her, and I've got to admit she is doing brilliant. She wants to learn this recipe, so this is why I'm doing it. When you get to this point, take your spatula, scrape down the spoon handle or whatever you've used to mix, and then take your scraper. I'm using this curved scraper. I think it's brilliant for getting all the edges of the bowl, and start to bring the dough in like so. Don't forget to clean that bowl down. Every little bit of ingredient is important. And just keep doing this motion until all the flour has been picked up and you have a clean bowl. Now you can do this last little bit by hand. Take the dough, fold it on itself, press in with your knuckles, fold it and press in, just like this. Fold it on itself, push it down with your knuckles, and the dough will get smoother and smoother as you go. You can see it picking up from the bowl. It's near enough clean. Take your scraper to finish it. Now here comes the fun part. We're going to do a little bit of kneading. Take it out your bowl. Put flour on there. Just don't even knead it. Just slap that bugger down there, and we're going to get on with the kneading. Now we're only going to be kneading this for about 3 minutes or so, just to get it nice and smooth and together. What you're going to do, take your hand, push in with your palm, take your left hand or right hand, fold it on itself, then come back in again and fold it, and then push through your palm, fold and push through like this. And then eventually the motion kind of looks like this. And you want to do this for about 3 minutes before we add the soft butter, which I think you're going to enjoy. It's a little bit on the messy side when you add the butter, but don't worry, it's going to be smooth and it's going to be absolutely lovely. I find it kneading is a great way to relieve stress. So just take all that negative bad day energy and put it into your dough. Right, time lapse. Right, after the 3 or so minutes of kneading, you'll end up with something that looks like this. Now, it's not buttery smooth right now because we haven't added the butter. What you're going to do now, in this bowl I have 35 grams of soft unsalted butter. I'm just going to take it in my hands, like so. Place it on top of the dough. Now this is the messy part, but you'll enjoy this. You can do it without gloves. You don't have to wear gloves. Take your fingers and press the butter into the dough like so. I know, right? So lovely. take the dough, fold it on itself, and press in, fold it on itself, and press in, and in. And now you're going to take the dough and squeeze that butter into it like this. And then just keep it moving. Just like this. I'm going to mop up all that butter. You think, oh my god, I've ruined it. Oh no, trust me. Just keep at it, keep working it. And all this butter is going to get absorbed into the dough like a sponge. Just squeeze it, work it. And as you go, you'll be less and less butter. Just like that. I know, the sound, it's so satisfying, right? Oh, my glasses are falling down. Mop it all up. As you can tell, it's getting there, just keep at it. Grab the dough, squeeze it, stretch it. See what I'm doing here? Beautiful. And you can tell, it's got less and less butter. Thanks to that egg yolk, it's helping to absorb the butter into the dough. I'm not sure exactly what the process is, but and what the reaction is, why the egg yolk binds it, but well, I did used to know, but I can't remember. Anyway, as you can tell, now from this point, you want to start the kneading process again, because from here, just see, fold it on itself, glide it through your palm, keep it moving, and it will mop up all of that butter, just like so. Now, this is the sort of speed I like to knead at. Now, as you can see, this recipe, I haven't needed to actually add any more flour. It's definitely not needed for this recipe. If you add the flour for this recipe, then the dough is going to be way too dry. And yeah, it's just not needed. I do have some recipes that are high hydration, and it does benefit just from a little bit of dusting on the countertop, but in this case you won't need it. Well, this is a rough knead. I'm not going overboard, because as far as loaves go, normally I would sit here and knead specific recipes from anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes continuously, but nowadays I tend to just use my stand mixer. But for the purpose of the video, for people that don't own a mixer, I'm going to show you how to do this by hand. Now, if you do have a stand mixer or a dough mixer, add your milk with the honey and the yeast in, with the egg yolk, into the flour that's got the salt and the milk powder, and you want to knead that away for about 5 minutes. Then add your softened butter and then knead it some more from 5 to 10 minutes until the butter is fully incorporated and the dough is silky smooth. So you want to be able to grab the dough and have it stretch out like this. See how it's starting to split there? That means it's nearly ready, but not quite. So we're going to give it a little bit more, just for a couple more minutes. Oh, butterfingers. There we go. That's nearly where I want it. Now, like I said, you can do this. You can do a quick knead. You haven't got to go crazy with the kneading in this recipe. You just want it so the dough is smooth, elastic, strong, and when it's in its ball, nice tight ball, I'll show you what I mean by that. Lovely. So take the dough, fold it on itself, and on itself, and on itself, until you end up, pinch the bottoms with something like this. See, when you press into it, it springs back. Look at that. Whoop. And it bounces back at you. And now we're going to want to do what's called the shape of the bowl. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can do that trick I showed you by folding it on itself and then pinching the nibs on the bottom, or you can cup the dough like so. Get your hands like this and pinch and spin, and you want your hands to meet like so, so you get that skin nice and tight on the top. Or you can do it this way. Grab the dough, fingers at the back like so, and drag it towards you, and let the friction of the counter tighten that skin. So spin it, pull it back, spin it, pull it back, until you end up with a beautiful smooth dough like that. Now that's going to go in this bowl here and covered with one of my reusable shower caps. I'm going to let that rest and double in size, let the yeast do its magic for 1 hour, and then we'll be back to knock out the air and bang it in the tin. So see you till then. Right, and after 1 hour and your dough has doubled in size like so, you're going to take your tin, and in this case it's a 1 pound Pullman loaf tin, rated for 450 grams, but it's not always accurate. But I've been tweaking this recipe for a little while now, and I find it's a perfect fit. Gives you a nice square loaf. This is the lid of the Pullman tin, which slides on like so. Locks onto the sides of the tin seat, little tracks in the lid, on, and it slides in like this. Now we're not going to put the lid on initially, we're going to cover it with the shower cap for as it rises, but what you're going to want to do first is grease your tin. Now I use this stuff, it's called Carlex, and it's a releasing agent, depanning oil. I use it for cakes, all kinds of stuff, and I think it works brilliantly for loaf tins for bread. So it's quick and simple. But if you haven't got this, you can take a bit of butter on a bit of parchment paper, rub it all around, or you can use lard, whichever one's your preference. But for me, I'm going to use this spray. So because it's quick and easy for me, I'm going to take my tin, give it a gentle spray, spin it, spray it, spin it, spray it, spin it, spray it, and done. That's it. That's it coated and ready to go. I'll take my tea towel up the side in case there's any residual oil from the spray. Now look at this dough. As you can see, it's doubled in size, it's super airy, it's super puffy. And then this is the part you've been waiting for, right? Boom, knock the air out. Take the dough. As you can see, it's still not sticky. Lovely stuff. Take your dough, flatten it out. Now I like to go for a rectangle like this, see? Just use your fingers, work it if you want. Use your knuckles. Make sure you degas all the air from the dough, and you end up with this. And then take the left side, fold it in to the middle, to the right side, fold it in to the middle, flatten it out like so with your fingers like this, and then starting at the back, fold it on itself. Make sure you're always pinching tight, fold it, pinch it, take it this, let's see. Think it's not wide enough, just take the dough, pinch it out a little bit more, just like this, and then begin to roll the dough until you end up with a beautiful log like this. And then roll it, flip it over. See that seam? Take your fingers and pinch it closed, just like this. Now normally I would pinch the sides as well, but to be fair, see how it's rolled up like this? If you don't pinch this shut and it bakes, you'd have a beautiful spiral on each end of the loaf. See? So that is ready to go in the tin. Take your loaf tin and place in your dough. I like to give it a gentle press down with my hands like this, just to get it seated into the base. And now you're going to take your shower cap again, cover that up, and let that rise for 1 hour again. Now, the best way to explain when you want to put this lid on. Now this lid, I'll take a bit of my spray again, I'll give it a gentle spray before I put the lid on. You want to let this rise for the hour, but keep an eye on it. Check it in about 50 minutes, 45 minutes into the rise, and when it reaches literally a finger below the top of the pan, that's when I like to slip the lid on. And then at that point we're going to set our oven, when this hour's up, we're going to set our oven to 160 degrees Celsius. Now I use an electric fan oven which runs 20 degrees hotter than indicated, so I'm going to set mine to 140 degrees Celsius for 160. And then when it's up to temperature, I'm going to bake this loaf for exactly 30 minutes. It's at a low, slow temperature, and we're going to bake for 30 minutes. When that 30 minutes is up, we're going to take it out the oven and pop it into a wire rack. But before I put it in the oven, I'll show you what it looks like before I put the lid on. So enjoy. Right, there is 3 minutes left on the hour timer, and the dough has risen beautifully in the tin. As you can see, it has reached this point here, about an inch or so, maybe half an inch from the top. So all you need to do now, take your lid, grease it. You can do this way beforehand. So I'll just use the spray, slide it on, and done. All you need to do at this point is start preheating your oven to 160 degrees Celsius. I'm setting mine to 140 because my oven runs 20 degrees hotter, as I said before. I'm going to bake it for 30 minutes once it's preheated. What you can do though, at 30 minutes, take the lid off. You can take it out straight away like I'm going to, or you can give it an extra 5 minutes with the lid off just to brown a bit more on the top. But the choice is yours. And I'll see you once the loaf is baked. Right, the loaf has been in for 30 minutes at 160 Celsius, and this is what it looks like. And now it's time to get out the tin. What I like to go, give it some gentle taps, just to help it release from the tin, and then confidently shimmy the tin until the loaf comes out like so. And this is what you end up with. Let's just flip it over and pop him down. A beautiful Pullman loaf, perfectly baked, light, soft, fluffy, perfect for sandwiches and toast. I'm going to let this rest now for, let's say, hour and a half, 2 hours, because I want it completely cool before I slice it. If you cut it too soon and it's way too warm, you're going to end up with a gummy texture inside the bread. So allowing it to cool fully will give you much cleaner slices, and then end up with a really light crumb inside. So I will see you later on and show you what it's like cutting the bad boy. And welcome back, guys. It has been 1.5 hours since the loaf came out the tin. It's been cooling on the side and it's ready to slice. As you can see, it's baked well all the way around. It's held its shape. Absolutely stunning loaf. So let's give it a slice and see how it is on the inside, eh? Got my bread knife. I'm going to go, what did you say, half an inch thick? Yeah, half an inch. Just go slow. It's not a very thick crust. Straight down and through. And let's have a little look-see at the crumb structure. It's soft, it's light, Let's have a little peek. Look at that. Beautiful. So soft. Let's do one more. Now this sort of bread is absolutely beautiful for toast and sandwiches. Nice tight crumb, a little bit bubbly in parts, but overall very, very happy. You get a much better result in a stand mixer, I must admit, because you get a much tighter crumb with the extra kneading and gluten development. But considering that was so quick, it's strong, it holds its shape, it's going to butter well, and the crust is just absolutely perfect. Anyway, this has been Dawn of the Bread, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please, if you have any questions, do ask me in the comment section, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you and goodbye.